Mornings with Maria. Republican presidential candidate Ben Carson making waves about his recent anti-Muslim comments.
They currently do not tend to operate the same way that our system does. Now, if someone has a Muslim background and they're willing to reject those tenets and to accept the way of life that we have, and clearly will swear to place our Constitution above their religion, then of course they will be considered infidels and heretics. But at least I would then be quite willing to support them.
A little clarity there on the heels of his initial comments. My next guest is a basketball legend, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's out with a new book, Mycroft Holmes, and we're going to talk about the book coming up. Kareem, it's wonderful to have you on the program today.
Nice to be here.
Good to see you again. Thank you so much. So before we get to the book, did what Dr. Carson said alleviate some of the upset that you had after his initial comments about now that he's saying, well, I would accept a Muslim in the White House so long as he denies or rejects Sharia law, is what he's saying?
I'm not an infidel or a heretic. And to be characterized like that is just an expression of bigotry. Americans are judged on their character when they run for office. There is no religious component in qualifying for public office in America. That's clearly in the Constitution. So Mr. Carson says that we have to support the Constitution, but he doesn't support the Constitution by denying Muslims the same access to public office as any other person from any other religion. He's clearly distorted and I think a little deranged.
I think you made such a good point when you say, look, this should be about character, because I totally agree, and I think most people agree with that. But when you're looking specifically at Sharia law, now you converted to Islam many years ago. Can you talk to us about that process and about your feelings towards Sharia law?
Well, Sharia law is for Muslims. So if there's a Muslim majority state, then it has to be run by Sharia law. But I live in a very diverse country, and I have to respect everyone else's beliefs. The Quran says that. You have to respect everyone's beliefs, and unless they are criminals, you can't persecute them on the basis of religion. So people who support their government, I totally support my government. The United States Constitution protects my rights to practice Islam. That's the only criteria that Muslims have in being a minority in a country. We have to respect the laws and traditions of America. I remember I saw a piece about some Muslims living in Tennessee, and they had lived there for some 15 years, no problems. All of a sudden, after 9/11, they were looked upon with suspicion. People started saying that, oh, they're going to try to install Sharia law. And up to that point, they had absolutely lived according to the traditions and respected them, paid their taxes, obeyed the law, and stayed out and kept their noses clean. But all of a sudden, they came under a lot of suspicion because of the 9/11 incident. So it's clearly something that it has come up out of the ground, and these people are embracing it.
You have been such a practical voice in all of this, and I think most people don't realize. I mean, I want to talk to you about the book, and I know that's why you're here, but most people don't realize how much some of the things happening in our world today that you can speak to. I don't think people realize that your father was a New York City police officer.
Oh, no, they didn't.
Yeah. So what do you feel about what's going on in the world in terms of race, in terms of these ignorant statements that we hear in different corners of the country?
I have to really go back to a hero of mine, Dr. Martin Luther King, who says we have to judge people on the content of their character. Everything else doesn't matter. It's the content of their character. And beyond that, there's nothing to be said. If you're a good citizen, you should have the right to run for public office and contribute to what makes America great. America is great because we were able to assimilate all these people from so many diverse cultures and still step forward and say, we're Americans.